Record. Okay, we recording. We live here. 5, 4.
Hello,
Good
love.
boy,
Welcome
Pop
to the
Radio Worldwide. Good boy, Pop here at Pop Radio Worldwide. I was having a little technicals here, but we doing this new social distancing Zoom stuff. It's your boy, like I said, Pop at Pop Radio Worldwide, putting on People Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify Premium, with the lovely pleasure to introduce the beautiful, lovely, powerful sister, Melanie Hogan, and her strong motivational podcast, the Chilove Radio Show. I need you guys to follow her not only on YouTube, her YouTube show, and follow her on the website and the iHeartRadio app, but I need you to go through Instagram and Facebook as well and show Melanie Hogan some love. Let's all come together and clap, big claps for Melanie Hogan in the Chilove Radio Show. Hey, Melanie. How you doing?
Thank you. Hello, love. Welcome to the Chilove Radio Show, Pop Radio Worldwide, iHeartRadio, and Spotify Premium. Hosted by the founder of Chilove, me, Melanie Hogan. Chilove Radio is sponsored by Chilove LLC. Now let's start off taking 3 deep breaths. Every day we're going to start off taking 3 deep breaths. Breathe from the diaphragm. Inhale, hold for 3 seconds, and exhale. 1. 2. 3. Let's go ahead and relax, check it off. I hope everybody's afternoon is going well.
This is Zoom number 3. This is Zoom number 3. You done taught me with that breathing stuff how to refocus and get back to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You gotta reground.
Yeah.
So we are off punishment here in Chicago. No curfew. It's not like a lot of people was following the curfew anyway, but nevertheless, we are technically free from this now. We can go outside, stay out as long as we would like. But COVID is still active. So I want everybody to keep that in mind. It's still active. I know that the weather is getting nicer. We are off a curfew. More things are opening up here. And they can open up the lakefront. I can't wait to get to the lakefront, especially at night. Have you ever been to the lakefront when it was raining and lightning?
Yeah, I rode my bike and got caught out there. I got caught out there. I drove my mountain bike one time and drove it all the way to the lake. And it started raining a little bit. We got caught by the docks out there a little bit at night, but it stopped raining.
I love the rain, especially when the lightning hits the water. That's just beautiful to me. So I look forward to that. So far, we here in Chicago are in the Cook County portion of Illinois. And we have over 4,000 deaths so far today. And they say that the numbers are still adding up. The Cook County makes up about 68% of the coronavirus cases in Illinois. That's a lot. That's more than half. It has now claimed more than 400,000 lives according to the latest data from Johns Hopkins University. And more than a quarter of these deaths were in the United States. So I wonder if we as the people took heed to the precautions that was put out here, kept masks on, kept our hands sanitized and such, if these numbers will actually start to go down. Because at the rate that it's looking, by the time the fall and the winter time come, which they said that they do expect it to spike back up, we might be burying quite a few more bodies. So, and I'm starting to see some of the younger generation contract the COVID as well. Everybody has a purpose to be here. You did not last this long just to be taken out by COVID, especially if it's something that you can't avoid. Some things you can't avoid, and it is what it is. But sometimes we put ourselves in situations that make it worse for us. So I understand that we all want to get out, we want to live some life. Isolation is a component of depression, actually. So we do need the fresh air, but we also want to see next summer and the summer after that and so forth, and not make any of our family members who may be older or with any ailment sicker. You know, everybody deserves a chance to live their lives to the fullest. Now, of course, you know the protests were credited as part of the reason why the cases have skyrocketed. So, and these protests were about the unjust murder of George Floyd by a good old boy in blue. But a protester, when asked about the concern of COVID during these times, she proclaimed that commitment to change is greater than a coronavirus fear at this time. I thought that was wonderful because, I don't know, it seems like every year we have some type of virus, some type of something that's coming up to go against people's health, to add to population control, whatever it may be. But we do need this change at this point. It's been too much going on for too long. And we need to continue to take a stand, continue to strategize, relax to a point to where we are not being counterproductive. Some things need to be torn down, some things don't need to be torn down, and we need to know the difference. But as I say, Chilove got you, and I support the movement for the change because it is needed. So as I said this, and we're going to talk about the changes that we're starting to see today because of George Floyd. He was a catalyst for this movement. His daughter, while she sat on her uncle's shoulders, proclaimed out to the world that her daddy was changing the world. That was a very powerful statement. The situation, it just still touches my heart, although, you know, this happened back in the end of May. So let's look at some of the changes that we have been starting to see and that people are fighting for. So we are being notified that a lot of police officers are starting to have repercussions and lose their jobs based on their behavior, which is a good thing. They need to be held accountable. I do understand that they were put in a position of authority, which means that no, they are not on the same level as civilians. But at the same time, you are not to abuse your authority. You are not to abuse your power. Because it's really not hard what y'all doing. Somebody else can step in and do the job correctly. But this has been going on for so long, a lot of police officers just feel like they have the right to get away with it. But if we go back to Laquan McDonald, when that police officer got some time, I remember him putting a message out there for his fellow officers and was basically telling them, like, it ain't what they telling us it is. Because he didn't think that he was going to receive any time for the murder of Laquan McDonald. So obviously, he felt that from within, despite what the public was saying, he felt like from within, they had their back. And they were going to, you know, make sure that they could walk away from whatever it was that they, you know, were accused of doing. So I am very happy to see that that has now changed and is changing. And why is it changing? Because we as a people are starting to speak up, to stand up, to record, because, you know, a lot of stuff is, well, your word against mine. And because it's a police officer, they immediately are, you know, deemed as more, what's the word that I'm looking for? You know, someone that's believable.
Credible.
Yeah,
more credible.
Yeah, they're deemed to be more credible.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
Yeah. So, you know, having your witnesses, having the recordings is doing a good job. It's funny to me a little bit because, you know, Big Brother was with this whole security thing, And they call themselves being slick by putting the cameras on our regular cell phone. You know, people are vain, love to be in front of the camera, you know, taking pictures and so forth. But these cameras are all actually also and can be used as little spy devices. So while they were setting up to watch us more, it's really kicking back on them because these same cameras are being used to expose what they are doing. So I think it's just perfect. I think it's perfect. This needs to be done. Now, also, we are seeing a call for police officers to be defunded. Let's talk about that. Do you believe that the police officers should be defunded?
So that's interesting, Melanie, because we have to, like, for every action, there's a reaction, right? So we have to think about defunding the police. What does that exactly mean? First, we have to understand, what are we doing? Does that mean that we take their funding and we use it more wisely, or does that mean that we abolish them completely and that we don't even got cops? And then what happens after that? Does that mean that we give the U.S. government the power to say, wait a minute, we don't have no police, we need the military running the streets? So to answer that question, I don't really know what defunding the police means. You know what I mean?
Well, there have been people who are saying that
I know they took their money.
The police are not qualified to deal. Huh?
So I know
the police are not qualified to deal with people with mental health illnesses.
But
they, a lot of times they come in for the violence, but the situation that they walk into is not always just white and black. You know what I'm saying?
And they come in aggressive. And they come in aggressive,
Yes.
They come in untrained, they come in biasly, unprofessional, belligerent. I get it. I've been, I'm a very prime example of police brutality. You know, Pop been through it. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing is, so I seen a couple of states, Melanie, that did defund and took some money that was already approved to go to the cops, and it went out to the schools.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The CPS pulled out, said, no, we ain't, get up out of here. We don't need you at the schools. We need more money. We're going to take that money and do something positive like books, education, and so forth. Now, do I believe what Obama said about reform and retraining the whole police force? Yeah. But defunding, I don't know what that means. That means what? We ain't got no more cops and everybody just going, got to govern their own?
Well, you know what? We are actually more than capable to govern our own. Each community, we could police our own community. I feel like the police officer should be called in once our people try to handle the situation, and if it get too much out of control or whatever, however we dealt with it, and then they come in on that assist. They don't understand a lot of times, and that's one thing that's in my notes about the reform, where they're going to have to be taught the history of each neighborhood, but not only the history of each neighborhood, but what is actually going on within a residence currently. It's a lot of people with PTSD. We need like a whole nother force. Like if the police are going to come, we need somebody who is knowledgeable of mental illnesses to be with them, so that they can that they can notice what characteristics that the police may not understand, and say, okay, well, this person is acting irate this way because they are at fear about something, or whatever the case situation may be, so that it can be a proper arrest. There are some situations where yes, the police do need to step in, but then there are some situations to where they make the situation worse. I do believe that we as a community need to step in a little more as far as what is going on in our community. We don't even know each other as neighbors anymore. People just mind their business.
So let me ask you something, because it's getting very deep, right? And you're making me think deeper, right? I might go on blaze in a minute today. You hear me? So So let's just say, for instance, right, Melanie, they got rid of the police, right? What's next?
Yeah.
Ain't no more
I don't
jails.
think they should be
Whoa,
all
whoa,
jails.
whoa, 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 whoa. Let's think deep. They get rid of the police, right?
Okay.
They got to get
Right.
rid of the jails. They got to get rid of the jails. They got to get rid of the judges.
Some people,
Whoa, we ain't done. They got to get rid of the judges. They got to get rid of all the turnkeys in the prisons, that turnkeys and the wardens and all them that work corrections. You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute, I'm not done. No, you ain't yet. Well, you throwing out the whole justice system out the window, so that means you don't need no lawyers, state attorneys, or none of that either. Or Cook County clerks and so forth. So think about what what you're talking.
well, I'm not in total agreement of totally getting rid of the police, but I do think that certain instances the people need to govern themselves more. So the people know more about what's going on in the neighborhood than the police do.
And look, I'm gonna keep
and a lot of these police, huh?
I'm gonna keep it real, Melanie. We going through some different evolving times. The politics, the police, the brothers, the sisters. You got a lot of people right now witnessing unique times. You know what I'm saying? So don't count the revolution not to only not be televised, but get ready to witness some stuff we ain't never seen because we seeing it now.
Never seen before. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
And like you just said,
but
you just said the police can govern themselves. And when people,
not the police.
I mean not the police. The people can govern themselves.
Be able to govern themselves.
Right.
Yeah. You
we
should.
We the ones putting them in office.
You know the difference between right and wrong. You know the difference between right and wrong. Like everything starts at home. If you give the parents back their natural right to actually parent and not put so many restrictions, a lot of stuff, the children are no longer listening to the parents. Why? Because the police or the school system is saying if your mama get too loud with you or put her hands on you or whatever, whatever the case may be, we're gonna step in let them know if they can't discipline you or get at you that way or whatever. And it's a difference between discipline and beating a child. It's the difference between discipline and abuse. A lot of things need to be addressed. Like this is not just a police situation here. A lot of things need to be addressed. I was in a situation one time and I had asked the police officer, like what from their perspective, what is it that they see? They saying that it's a lack of control in the household. You're not listening to your parents, so you don't listen to us. But why aren't a lot of children listening to their parents? Because they telling them that you don't have to, adapt at what your parent is saying. You got the choice to just get up and walk out. And if your parent do something about it, it's a problem. So this is like layer after layer after layer. People do need to start to be held accountable for their own actions. You got a brain. You should be able to see whether or not what you are doing is going to cause some type of effect and what type of effect it's going to cause. We don't sit down and think long enough to think that stuff out. The people should start to govern themselves more. There should be the communities, and they can even have it to where the community policing is working with the actual police so that there's always some form of communication about what is going on. But the police should not really enter until those community police people say, okay, we have gotten it, this far. Because, a lot of them probably not going to be able to walk around and use the guns or, move how the police move or whatever. But we do need to start to take our communities back. My grandfather, when my dad was little, they lived on the block where it was all families and the fathers were in the house. The gangs started to try to infiltrate that area. He said that every father and uncle within that neighborhood and community came out to, stand up against those little gangbangers and let them know, not our kids, not here. He said over time they ended up moving over on another block where it was more so a lot of single parent households. You know, the parent was at work or whatever the case may be, and they was able to, infiltrate that block harder than they was the block where the people actually came together and said, we don't want that here. So the people do need to, God said he gave man dominion over the world. And man has dominion over self. I don't understand. I don't understand. You got dominion over yourself when you're making bad decisions. You got dominion over yourself when you're making good decisions. We as a people have brains. Why aren't we thinking more?
I think people
The
tired,
police.
Melanie. I think they starting to open their eyes and come together now, man. I think it's changing the world now. Like that little girl said, Daddy changed the world. You know what I'm saying? And it's really messed up, man. We had because a lot of there's been a lot of senseless police murders and brutality over the last 40, 50 years. You know, we just start filming stuff the last decade. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that for technology and for the last decade of it just getting shown and shown and shown and shown until the justice system and even the Republicans were like, damn, we really fucking up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a problem.
We can't even put no more shit up under the rug. We got to march with these people. We got to get on the knees with these people. We got to go and put up 10 miles of gates around the White House before they get us. You know what I'm saying? And you know, man. So you know the people got tired.
And it is tiring.
It is tiring. Getting on Twitter and talking about absolutely no solutions, no nothing, no words of hope. I'm sorry.
That boy is something else. That boy is something else. And I am empathic, Pop. You hear me? So I can feel the energy. I can feel the fear. I can feel the hatred. I can feel the anger. It's draining. We have a lot of healing to do as a people.
I know where you live at. I know where you live by. You know where I live by, right? For the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks for sure, I've went to sleep every night listening to nothing but gunfire all night long in Chicago.
It's be so many sirens going past my window throughout the day. It's ridiculous. It's draining. It's draining, and you take a rest, but you don't lay there. You don't stay there. You rest up and you get back up to it because, yes, it's tiring, but the change is needed. Being a parent is tiring, but you still going to get up and do what you're supposed to do.
I just want to get back to life, back to reality. You know what I'm saying? I give it up to the mayor, though, man, and I give it up to the stand up. I don't know, you know, we most politicians be crooked. But I got to give it up to Lightfoot for taking her stand and Pitzner for standing up to Trump, starting to let us get back to business. And like I said, I'm just get ready back to life.
You know what? Illinois, Chicago definitely carries a certain energy and a certain spirit. And you know, when Lightfoot told him, I got 2 words for you, begin with an F and end with a Q. She was already all right in my book, but that was. I
rock with Lightfoot, man. I rock with
Lightfoot. Chicago right there,
I ain't gonna lie, hey man, Lightfoot. You might think a lot of us, you know, just hip hop, and some of us really respect what you, and rocking what you doing for Chicago. You know what I'm saying? The memes might go around. I'm glad she got a good sense of humor, and you know, because some people make fun of her, and you know that's not. I mean, as long as most of the people recognize the things that she really doing, then that's what matters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and she cares. I remember when she was first running, I was looking at her, and I'm like, it's something a little different about her spirit than it was like from the other candidates. She carried a certain type of energy with her. So I'm proud of her. She's doing good. She's doing the best that she can. She's trying to keep a balance to where she is, really seems to be really close with the superintendent. But at the same time, willing to put her foot down and hold these police officers accountable and say, stand with us and saying enough is enough. So I'm really proud of her for that. But yeah, police funding and taking away police funding was a change that we are seeing occurring here, and certain people are fighting for. And yes, you do have to look at both sides, like you said. Well, if we take all the police away, then we got to take away the judges, the clerks, the lawyers, everybody. That's a lot of people losing a job. That's a lot of people. But I do believe that we should be able to incorporate the common man in the situation. Like, everything should not be straight law when you are dealing with humans. These are human beings that you're dealing with. So they need to make some amendments and some changes and have a little more humanity. And there are police officers who
with no racism, we would be a stronger United States. With no racism in this country, we would be a stronger United States. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if we rebuilt and amended our Constitution and our rights, and we built a new United States, a new system where, justice was justice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it could be done.
Yes.
It could be done. Somebody sat down and put together what we are living up under now. So it ain't nothing for some old people to sit down and put together something else. This could be done. It can be done. But let's talk about law and order. Law and order, SVU. SVU. The executive producer, Warren Lake, had something to say about this whole situation, because the TV and the radio, social media, it helps to impact how we feel about a lot of things sometimes. A lot of times people be planting seeds to have you believe in agreeing to something that could be totally wrong, or just accepting that this is the way that it is. But it's not good for the people. It's not good for us in totality. So he said that they have tried to add more storylines about how race and class impact the outcome of justice in society, but they plan to do more. They're going to do a segment on like the George Floyd case. And he said that this has to be a moment where people make themselves uncomfortable, where people in power have to make themselves uncomfortable. Is that not like the main way to grow? When you realize that you're growing, you becoming uncomfortable when it's a need to grow. What you're in starts to become uncomfortable. You need to stop turning your head to the side, acting like you're oblivious to certain things that are going on. A lot of times they use racist infliction in the form of a joke. So that it's ha-ha, you don't have a sense of humor, we were just playing. But people are taking that message and applying it to real life. So I'm glad that people who are behind the scenes and putting together the storylines with the TV are being more aware of the type of messages that they are putting out there. Because the police was always supposed to be the good guy, as far as my understanding. So that's confusing to a mind when you told that the police officers are the good guys, but they're doing so many bad things. And then if they are being too rough or aggressive with a civilian, and that civilian, it's instinctual to swing back or fight back if somebody, then snatched you too hard or something like that. But now you call it resisting arrest, and now they really have the authority to, break you down. So it's like some stuff is just illogical and inhumane. It doesn't make any sense for you to think that you telling a person to put their hands behind their back so you can cuff them is one thing, and you snatching and twisting their arms up, or you putting the cuffs on so tight that the imprints and stuff is up in the person's arms, and they put it on the wrist part, their little bone part, so it's causing you some uncomfortability and some pain. It's just that a lot of things just need to be really reconsidered. A lot of things need to be reconsidered. This is going to be a journey, but it'll be worth it. our grandchildren and great-grandchildren and so forth should be able to see some of the positive effects of this right here as long as we continue going. We can't look at the police without looking at the people. We can't look at the people without looking at the individuals. You know, everybody kind of on the chopping block. It's a lot of rehealing that needs to be done. A lot of reconditioning that needs to be done. But I'm glad that SUV Law and Order is going to start to change the narrative with their shows. So speaking about uncomfortable, and we were talking about TT earlier, Lori Lightfoot. She has a police reform in 90 days.
I said you called her TT. I was wondering who you was talking about.
That's TT, Lightfoot. Okay. Mayor Lightfoot is TT. We don't welcome her in the family here. Now, what do you think about her police reform in 90 days? That's, you know, in business, 90 days is a quarter. Things are usually measured off in quarters. So, I don't know. I'm a person who, I don't believe that anything is impossible. I believe that all things are
pretty optimistic about that. I'm pretty optimistic about that. Pretty optimistic. You fire a whole bunch of people, give them a whole new set of orders. Let us catch you out there bad one time. We just locked up 14 police. You see what happened. Get out there bad if you want. You're going to get a lot of people don't want to even be police now.
Yeah.
People resign already.
You know what I was thinking on the police side? Like with the extra aggressive ones, you know, a lot of them used to be bullied back in the day, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then it's like, now you want to act tough, but it's like, these are the people who was bullying you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need some healing. You need to recondition your mind. Like, a lot of them used to be bullied, and I think that's like, because they do a very in-depth assessment when you're going for the testing and everything. And I think, like, those type of questions should be asked about, you know, have you ever been bullied, and to what extent? What were your thoughts about it? Did you seek to get revenge? Do you feel like you still hold some resentment because of that? Psychological assessments can tell you a lot.
And they don't give those cops, psychological assessments. You know what I'm saying? Just like you don't even need a GED to work in a correctional center. You know what I'm saying? They get them straight from, no. Are you crazy? It's different for the police, but the correctional officers, they open up new joints. When I did 20 years. In my last 10 years, they opened up Pinckneyville, Lawrenceville, all these new penitentiaries. And you was getting guys that was just came off the farm from these little towns and became correctional officers. No education. You know what I'm saying? Not even a high school diploma.
No.
Right.
No. That
right.
Somebody dropped the ball. Somebody dropped the ball on that one. But yeah, she wants to, within her reform in 90 days, she wants to incorporate a better and different training for police officers, her words. They will bring in community members as teachers, which I think is good. The officers will have history lessons of the neighborhoods that the officers are to patrol. I think the history lessons are good, but they need to tap into what is going on currently, especially the language. Like, for example, how you know if I told you you're going to die and you told the police, they'll say, well, she didn't say I was going to kill you. That I'm going to kill you. You know that? Can you imagine how many cases where somebody called police and said, this man said I'm going to die, and then the police said, well, he has to say I'm going to kill you in order for us to do something, and then you got to go back later on and pick that body up. They need to be more up to date with the lingo, because a lot of people don't speak perfect grammatical English, especially in the streets. So everybody is not saying I'm going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's ridiculous. They need to, come on in on that a little bit. You know what somebody means when they saying certain terminology. Yeah. That's like if you went to it with somebody and they tell you bet. The police gonna be like, I don't know what. Bet what? But you know what that means. That means this ain't over with. And I'm gonna see you again.
Right.
So then later on, the police
like pull up.
called.
Pull up. You know what I'm
Pull
saying?
up, yeah, right.
Pull up.
Right.
You know?
Or I'm on my way. We know what that means as a people, but legally the law is not in alignment with that.
They know what 12 mean.
Yeah. Yeah, they know what 12 mean.
They know what 12 mean.
Yeah, they know what 12 mean because it has something to do with a threat towards them, you know what I'm saying? But it's like with the people, who are we serving and protecting here? Are you only serving and protecting the taxpayers? Only people in certain neighborhoods? Like, we need a clarity on who exactly are you serving and protecting, because you hear over here certain people talk and they say that when they're referring to the Americans are taxpayers only. So what about all the rest of the people that's not taxpayers?
Can I tell you something, Melanie? When you talk, because you started off and you said about the psychological trainings that some of these officers probably need, and they were raised by maybe being bullied, or who knows what kind of other anger, problems they had. But you get a couple of these individuals together within the police force that feel the same kind of way, and then you have gangs and societies within societies. So I think that's gonna have to get broke up. You got 4 or 5 police that think they a gang and they robbing gangbangers and they beating them down and pull up on them and putting guns on. Those are what you got to break up. You got to go break up those gangbangers too.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I said we all on the top of the block. It's not just the police. It's not just the people. It's not just the government. Everybody has some sort of healing and reconditioning that is necessary in order for us to make these changes and make them actually stick, so that we can actually have justice, what the term really represents. And it has nothing to do with a person's color, socioeconomic status, or anything. So yeah, they're gonna have history lessons, and then programs like My Block, My Hood, My City will be expanded, as well as more wellness programs for the officers. We need wellness programs for everyone. We need more wellness. We need wellness programs for everyone. The officers, those who are incarcerated, those who are out here in the street, those who have had to witness generations of this. People are sitting and listening to their grandmamas and grandpas say, back in my day, this was the same thing. Boy, like I heard my grandmama say, they doing y'all worse than they did us back in the day. Those should not be a continuing stories in relation to what we are going through here. Everybody needs some healing and some reconditioning. Everybody.
You know what I think will help our police a lot, Melanie?
What?
Well, not our police. Well, yeah, because they would stop going to jail, stop doing wrong. But it would help our police reform program, or whatever she got going on in mind. But just imagine if we police, well, not us, but if the mayor, the governor, had a company that was not the police, maybe a community leader or community leaders, policing and supervising the police.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. I think that'd be great.
If they all had a supervisor that wasn't the police, watching their ass while they do their job.
Yeah. We there is. I remember when I was out after one of those Jedediah Brown protest incidents, and there were these ladies that were out there, and they were supposed to be like the little median between the police and the people, and to help try to oversee the police officers to make sure that they were moving correctly. I don't know too much about them, but that's true. It needs to be expanded, and we have to check the character of these people that we are putting it in to oversee the police, because people come in with their own agenda.
Right.
We don't need any crooked leaders overseeing the police and saying, okay, y'all can't do it here, but I turn my head over here. for, whatever price. Because we know that there's a lot of under the table shaking, handshaking that is going on with these proceedings. And you know what? Maybe even with the leaders who are policing the police, we need to have the cameras police the leaders who are policing the police, just to make sure that everything.
Well, I mean that's what brought it. That's what brought everything to light anyway. The people getting filmed. You know what I'm saying? So I believe the only reason that happened was, the only reason things are coming to light is not only that, but now we're seeing how long that we've needed our police to be policed. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I think they need to be policed.
And
the police need to be policed.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Police the police. You hear me? Police the police.
Yeah. Police the police.
Yeah.
She's gonna have them to where they're in mandated crisis intervention and procedural justice training for all officers in a new recruit program on police community relations and community policing. More officers are being held accountable as more people speak up and report these behaviors, like we were saying. Any officers who turn off their body cam, they will be dealt with. They will be losing their job. They'll be, coming up onto the chopping block. Police officers in Minneapolis are banned from using the chokehold, which is great. They shouldn't be putting up somebody in the chokehold no doggone way.
Man, you can kill somebody in the chokehold. You can kill somebody. So
the police officers who see other police officers using chokeholds, they are mandated to now intervene. They are mandated to now report their fellow police officers if they are behaving outside of policy. So that's good, because a lot of them, I think that quite a few police officers probably did want to step up and speak up at a certain point, but those who did before them, got fired or got outcasted or whatever amongst their fellow officers. So I think that this is making it a little easier, especially if they're mandated to do it. You have to report this if you see it. So it's not like they being a snitch is part of their job requirements now. So that's good. We need to stop that everywhere, the damn chokehold. The police chief must authorize use of crowd control weapons, such as rubber bullets, and tear gas. The new order will require timely discipline decisions and allow for civilian audits of body cam footage. I think that's good too. Educators are starting to come in on the talk of racism and what can be done about it, which, just like everything started at home, school is like that next step where, that flower is being, that seed is being planted, or that seed is being blocked. Educators are realizing that education is too focused on white students and the generations before them that recorded history from their own singular perspective. It's about time. It's about time that the teachers are starting to realize this. Teachers are realizing that they must step up and make sure students of color can relate to what they're learning and feel that their voice is heard and appreciated in the classroom. You think that's a good idea?
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm over here smiling. I know they can only hear us on iHeartRadio, but I know the people tuned in on YouTube watch. I'm smiling because Chilove Radio is the only place you won't get a show like this, especially on the Zoom COVID-19 side. You hear me? So big ups to Chilove Radio, Pop Radio Worldwide, iHeartRadio, Spotify Premium. You hear me? I agree, Melanie. I agree. I really agree.
Good. And all of this has even impacted Donnie Boy. I call Trump Donnie Boy. He's number 45 to me. That's Donnie Boy. Donnie Boy has ordered the National Guard to withdraw from Washington, D.C. after calling them in response to protests in the capital city. He says that everything is under perfect control and they will be going home, but can quickly return if needed.
You know what? Trump won't win. He won't bamboozle this election. You hear me? He can't buy this one. You hear me? And what's sad, I don't really want to say too much because, I don't like try to get into politics. But they only be giving us 2 choices.
It's like you gotta pick the lesser of 2 evils.
What supposed to do? Come on, we got to be able to. That's one thing we need to go and protest for and change. You hear me? Well, we only got 1 choice.
Yeah.
I mean, 2. No, we need to have some more choices.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well,
more
you
good
know
people.
that they were saying that, for example, like before we get down to just those two choices, like the other candidates, they saying that they were like splitting up the black vote because it'd be like 2 black people or something. And, you know, some was voting over here for this, and some voting over there, and they was trying to get like a totality to go towards this specific candidate. So yeah, I don't know. We do need to. We just got to make a lot of changes on every level of the board.
And why can't a president come back and run again? We could have left Obama in there if it wasn't broke. Why fix it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we definitely could have. And you know, a lot of people, I hear them speak about him, and whatever. What people don't understand is it's the electoral college that holds the card. It's the electoral college. Like,
again, we need to change that. We need to change all that. We need to go back to the drawing board.
And everybody just pressing at the president and pointing at the president, but it's the electoral college. It's like check into. If you don't want to read the book, we got videos on it. It'll give you a greater understanding of how this process goes. So yes, we've been seeing some changes on the upper plateau of the governmental system, but we have also been seeing some changes within our residents, within the civilians here. We are seeing more bonding. We're seeing more love. We're seeing people come together, strangers come together, regardless of the race, regardless of the area that they come from, to help rebuild things that were torn down during the protest. We're having people who wanted to engage more in the positive aspect of things, feeling more comfortable to do so. Because whether we realize it or not, there's kind of a stigma out here against the goody goodies. So it's like now people are having a chance to actually step up and do some more good things, not only for themselves, but just in the name of the people, because it's going to take all of us, one form or another, and we all have a role to play. Mm-hmm. So, we're talking about the changes that we see and the things that are occurring, and where else in the Chilove radio show on Pop Radio Worldwide, iHeartRadio, on Spotify Premium, will you find updates on what is currently happening, and then have a health and wellness session to follow up? And today we are talking about major depression. We're talking about major depression. Everybody goes through some form of depression. It's natural. But a major depression, which I would not be surprised at the statistics going up because of what has been happening basically since 2020 began. 2020 has started out kind of rough. I don't even want to ask what's next, honestly. So depression.
If you ain't know how to fight before 2020, you know how to fight now.
Right. Yeah. If anything, yes, you do. So depression is a mental health disorder characterized by persistently depressed mood or lost interest in activities, causing significant impairment in daily life. Possible causes include a combination of biological, psychological, and social sources of distress. Right now, we definitely see a combination of those. My God. Research suggests you hear the siren.
I didn't know if it was over here or over there.
That's what I was saying.
I'm glad it was over there right now, you know.
Yes, I hear the siren. Look, low key, I I like Lachichi song "Love No Thotties," and you know the little sirens be on at the beginning of the song. So
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes me into that, certain things to trigger certain songs. Yeah, but I don't love no thotties. But anyway, research suggests that these factors may cause changes in brain function, including altered activity of certain neural circuits in the brain. So a lot of times when they be like, "Oh, he going crazy, she going crazy," it truly is something that has occurred in the brain. Like the brain is not in alignment for proper function. So that's another reason why the police need to have like a serious understanding of it. The brain is not, on the level that research is saying that we should be in order to make certain decisions. Trauma, you're going to make decisions out of that trauma mode. Depression, you're going to make decisions out of that depressed mode. So it really needs to be taken into consideration when dealing with people. The persistent feeling of sadness or loss of interest can lead to a range of behavior and physical symptoms, such as anxiety, like we were talking about yesterday. Apathy. Apathy means like you numb inside. You can't really feel nothing. You don't, not really a connection. General discontent. Guilt, hopelessness, loss of interest or pleasure in activities, mood swings, or sadness. A lot of people are going through a functional depression or just an outright depression and not even really understanding what is going on with them. Agitation, excessive crying. Excessive crying, yes. And you want to see, I'm telling you another little indication. You can feel like you're okay. You know what I'm saying? On the outside, you look like you're okay. You're trying to take your mind off of what's going on. And say I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, tears will just start to fall down my face. Even though I'm not talking about anything sad or angry or anything, the tears are just, it's like your soul is crying. Irritability, restlessness, social isolation. Based on the COVID and the social isolation in itself.
Sound like I did 20 years all over again.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God. Early awakening. I have been on Facebook, can't sleep, or waking up early, and I see so many posts where they like, I don't know why I'm up. I'm just up. I don't know why I'm up. Yeah. Excess sleepiness. I wish I had some excess sleepiness. Insomnia. A restless sleep. You laying down, you going in and out of sleep. It's like you just can't get comfortable and get into groovy. Excessive hunger, and a lot of people have comfort foods, and they like to cook and just eat a lot. That's also a sign of depression. Fatigue, a loss of appetite. Those are also signs of depression, and it's crazy, like with the fatigue, because the fatigue is part of the symptoms of the COVID. So it's like, what's going on? You got COVID, you got depression. It's a lot going on out here. It's a lot. Lack of concentration. Your brain, your ability to concentrate and think and reground a lot of times is hard. It's hard. You find that something that would have a task that would have taken you 15 to 20 minutes is now taking you 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Slowness in activity, as I was saying, thoughts of suicide. Some people actually try to go through with the act of suicide. Weight gain or weight loss. Poor appetite or repeatedly going over thoughts. With the thought part, just like we were talking about with anxiety. When these things occur, it is refunctioning how your brain functions. So it's not easy. A lot of people are like, oh, just let it go. Oh, just shake it off. Oh, just don't think about it. Believe me, nobody wants to constantly think about something that horribly happened to them. The thoughts will replay in your mind. It will replay. It will pop up out of nowhere and it'll stick. So, you have to be more considerate, like somewhere along the line, we started to become more robotic than humane. That's a problem. To where it's not your problem and shake it off. I'm tough. I'm tough. You tough. But then when it come down to having to do stuff like standing up for racism, you rather go and kill somebody that looks just like you. But you tough. A young man said last night he was in a uncomfortable situation with a white boy. And he said he was so uncomfortable. He said it made him even more so uncomfortable because he had a whole different type of energy. He said, man, I would have felt better getting into it with somebody my own color. I said, is that what it is? We're more comfortable getting into it with something we familiar with.
That's crazy.
I don't like steady going after something that reminds me of me because I feel like low key I'm whooping me, you know. I'm whooping me, I'm hurting me. But that was just interesting that that he said that, and it makes a lot of sense because they will go after each other, but not the real opposition, the real enemy on the other side. So I think maybe everybody needs to, y'all need to discuss that amongst yourselves, the game makers. I still love y'all yourself, but we need to do some things a little different around here. Now we have triggers. Loss of a loved one through death, divorce, or separation. Now you may say, well, George Floyd, I didn't know this man. He represented us. He represents what so many of us have endured or know somebody who has went through. You don't have to know somebody personally to feel their pain. That's why you have this energy. We're all connected. We could feel it. We not knowing that man, and we was in tears. We was outraged. We had insane moments to where we just need to tear it all down, even our own stuff. So, these are circumstances that can help to trigger. And then a lot of times, this right here is not your initial trigger. It's reminding you of something else that didn't happen. It's realigning you and taking you back to a certain point, a certain incident, something that's just going to have to bring that pain and stuff out more. So we got to, a lot of times, get to know yourself. I don't care what nobody else is telling you about you. You know what you can stand. You know what you can't stand. You know how much of it you can stand. You know how much of it you can't take. Don't let nobody force you into a situation to where you're going to end up having some type of mental break. Because a lot of people who have mental breaks, they actually don't, if they come back from it, it's not all the way like how it was when they was their original selves. So this is like a time to start to really dwell into who you are. Yes, we got to put these COVID masks on, but take the mask off your soul. Take the mask off of you as a person. Because a lot of people are still walking in who they are told to be versus who they really are. And you got to take this because you tough. You got to take this. You got to take it. And you steady pounding it on and you breaking yourself down. Unnecessary stuff. And then you don't understand why your personal relationships are constantly being torn apart. It's some stuff that needs to be healed and some stuff that needs to be reconditioned and some triggers that you need to stay away from. Everybody can't rock with the same thing. Everybody don't take everything the same way. And if that's not for you, you're not an inner street person, ain't no wrong with being on the sidewalk. It's plenty of space. There's plenty of space. If this is not for you, don't let somebody force you into a position where you're going to have that mental break because you don't know whose brain is going to be affected by it. Yours. They're going to see the effects of it. But you're the one who's going to have that hell going on inside of you. So for the sake of you, save you. Certain stuff is not for you, and that is okay. Certain way that people talk to people is not for them. Certain people look to take it and brush it off. Other people is hitting their core. Don't put yourself around them type of abusive, verbally abusive people. Don't keep putting yourself around these physically abusive people, emotionally abusive people, manipulative people. If you're seeing what the effects of your environment is having on you as a person and your well-being, your ability to create, your ability to elevate, you don't have to make some lifestyle changes. I know we about unity and everybody want to see if you down and if you with us, you with us. I could be with you and still be with me. We can have a universal understanding that when you see me, I'm not here to hurt you. I should have that understanding that when I see you, you're not here to hurt me. But have I lived my life is my life. Have you lived your life is your life. We respect that and keep it understood. You need yourself. People so used to somebody else always coming in to take care of them, take care of them, take care of them. But if everybody else is always taking care of you, who the hell taking care of them? That's a lot of weight that you put on people because they got to take care of you and take care of them. And then if you're a parent, you responsible for, in my case, 5 others' well-being. I have a little grandgoddess in October, so now that's 6. Plus her, I have a whole little family. So it's like we need to start to step up and do our part regarding ourselves. Don't just accept that you have this. Stop just accepting bullshit. You just accept that you have this, so let me get comfortable with it and make it a part of my life. That's not the life that you want. You're so damn tired because you fight for the dumb shit instead of the stuff that's gonna count. A lot of y'all not earning your stripes. You just engaged in a lot of goofiness. Your stripes come in when you're standing for the shit that counts, the stuff that matters, the stuff that's gonna make a difference. Not because you just feel some type of way and you want to feel like you tough, so you run around slapping and shooting people. You ain't getting no damn stripes from that. And then a lot of times the people that you go after, these people don't even want to fight. You didn't call them, off guard. Why? Because you got something going on with you, something restructured your brain, and you need to look into that. It's YouTube meditation, brain healing meditation. You can let that energy just start to that. You don't have to sit. Hold on, mama. You don't have to sit and you don't have to sit in a meditative yoga stand. You can just put it on and let the energy just flow. You can just put it on and let the energy flow. Let it flow, and you will start to see some type of change. Build up consistency. It's not going to happen overnight because you were not tore down overnight. Give yourself some patience. It's a process. So you also have social isolation or feelings of being deprived. A lot of people should be able to relate to that right about now. We got people who feeling deprived of natural rights. We have people who out here pleading and begging for a natural right. You don't beg for a right, you invoke a right. You don't ask for a right, you declare a right. That's the difference. But when you're feeling helpless and hopeless, it puts you in that state. Nobody likes to feel like they don't have any type of control about what happens to them. So we definitely are in a position right now where we need to start to make changes. Major life changes can add to depression, moving, graduation, something that's month was graduation, job changes, retirement, because each of these things is something new. So now your brain has to accept this newness. Your brain has to, assess what is going on and how to move in it, and how to prepare for it, and so forth. Personal conflicts and relationships, that can cause a lot of depression. They say that women are more depressed. You have more depressed women than you have men. That's understandable. On my behalf, I see why that's more understandable. A lot of women are more in tune emotionally, so that dagger, you feel it a little harder. Physical, sexual, or emotional abuse. Those are all triggers for depression. Treatment: antidepressants, talk, cognitive and behavioral psychotherapy. That's when you go and speak to your physician and you let them know what's going on. It's good to, because your brain is now changing and altering your concentration and stuff is off, it's good to keep a journal, or you can just go through your phone and, record things through your phone or whatever, just to help establish a pattern of what's going on, and it can aid in your care plan and your treatment. Make changes to your lifestyle. Start small, step by step. Sometimes just the fact of when we think about everything that we need to do within a 24-hour period, sometimes that is very overwhelming. And a lot of people can't even, the thought itself just makes the person stay in the bed all day. So you can just start small, one step at a time. Sometimes I write a list and then cross it off. When you cross it off, you let your brain know, I did that. I got that part done. So yeah, you got some more stuff to do, but you did something. You celebrate what you did do. So yes, you make your changes in your lifestyle. It's crucial to take time to relax. Set your routine and a schedule. They say St. John's wort is a herbal supplement, but it's best to speak to your physician about the pros and the cons of it. We got some resources for you all. Jewel Osco, 6014 South Cottage Grove is hiring. Elite Staffing, 3125 West Armitage is hiring. FedEx, Amazon, and UPS are hiring. Mr. Sudsy Laundromat, you still need to wash your clothes when it's time. 1010 West 79th. They have free dry and wash. And we have our hotline numbers as usual here at the Shine Up Radio Show. Community Counseling Centers of Chicago. The number is 1773-365-7277. It is located at 2542 West North Avenue. The National Alliance for Mental Illness, 312-563-0445. And the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255. I hope that you all enjoyed the Shy Love Radio Show on Pop Radio Worldwide, iHeartRadio, and Spotify Premium. Know that as I speak to you, it is out of love. It is out of your best interest. Hugs to y'all. Love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
That was Zoom number 3. I want everybody to make some noise for Melanie Hogan. Stay connected to Melanie Hogan on Instagram. Make sure you follow her on Facebook. And make sure you download the iHeartRadio app. This week, Pop will be at Mermaid's Grill. I will be at 555 Place in Bedford Park. Come through there, grab some softballs. I'm going to be in a dunk tank at Mermaid's Grill, pop in some water and dunk me. You hear me? 555 West, 555 70th Place, Bedford Park. They got amazing food. Stripper poles out there with the cabanas, drinks and food, 11 a.m. to 12 midnight. It's your boy Prince of Pain. I love you. Get ready for Zoom 4 very soon with Melanie Hogan and the Shy Love Radio Show. We'll get back with y'all. We love you.